It's Bin of Trash here. That's an intro, apparently. Anyway, people have been asking me for a while for another tutorial, and I haven't really done any, so I am sorry. I've been a little bit busy. So the tutorial I tend to get asked the most to do is hands, and I thought, okay, well, I haven't done one in a while, so I will do something, I guess, that people probably ask me for a lot. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to teach you the way I do it. This is not the perfect way to learn how to draw hands. This is just an easy way that I draw hands. So, you know, that kind of thing. If you want to, like, there are so many hand tutorials on the internet. If you want to learn how to draw, like, realistic hands, I'd suggest having a look on DeviantArt or on YouTube, because there are a ton of tutorials which will be very, very helpful for different styles of hands. My style specifically is more cartoonish, because I personally don't really enjoy drawing realism, so my stuff doesn't really go that way. Anyway, what I will be teaching today is pretty much just the basics on how I do it. So to start with, I actually put my hand out in front of me. So I have my own hand, because I am left-handed when I draw. My right hand is in front of me. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our hand, just stick it out in front of you in a relaxed position. It's facing downwards. So then what you do is, this is roughly the shape of your palm, or the palm of your hand. You then have, you know, like your knuckles, and this is the shape that you get for your thumb. You should be able to see, like, it's fairly simple to see when you look at your hand. Anyway, if I look at my hand, I have a thumb, sticks out this way, and that merges in with this. That then goes into my finger, which is made up of 3 parts. You probably will have noticed that as you move your hand around. Your hand is the best reference you can possibly get, because you can put it in any pose and you can move it around as you work. So you've got a 3D model in front of you, you can see how it works, you can see how the muscles move, and it's very useful. So if you notice, when you have your hand out, your fingers don't stick together naturally. When you have your hand loose, your fingers don't just stick like this. They don't stick that way. They actually sit quite far out. This is another way you can do hands. This is one way that other people draw hands to get the shape a lot easier, and that works the exact same way. So anyway, continuing on, so you can also see the different sizes for each finger this way, as every finger generally is slightly different size, and it will change depending on your gender, etc, etc. So that's always handy to learn, and it's handy to have when you are obviously busy. And then that comes out like this, and then it goes out. So that's roughly what it looks like from behind. Then you get your knuckles on the top. So that is the basics for just like your standard hand. Those actually should be in front, but yeah. So that is roughly a hand. It's not the best, it gets the point across. So that's pretty much all we're after. So I'm just going to shrink this one down. Okay. So the next thing we can do is, it also depends on the style of hand you want to draw. So I can do another one in that style. So it is a little bit more realistic, but it's not really. So you put your hand in the exact pose that you want. You draw the basics. So I've got 2 fingers up this way, and this one gets overlapped by this one. So first things first, I'll draw the ones that go underneath. They bend down a little bit. This one goes over the top of this one, it sits back here, and then my hand actually does come out. It's just the way that your hand moves. Now my thumb sits over the top and it touches this finger. So it actually does touch it, and you draw it that way. This is why I enjoy my hand as a reference, because it's just useful. Yeah, so there we go. And then still looking at my hand, now we can draw these 2 fingers, roughly how they sit as I stare at my hand. So again, it's basic shape. Most fingers are made up of 3 parts. So they have two bends in them. And the same goes for these ones as well. They have the two bends in them, and that's how you move your fingers and your hand moves. So this is an important skill to learn when drawing a hand, and it does help a lot. So yeah, so next up we will change the style of hand we want to draw. Because I'm sure you've all noticed, especially like this hand, is more chibi. I draw chibis a lot. Chibis are basically children. So again, the same idea. This is the kind of shape you want for the palm of the hand. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw it just straight out. We're going to draw it this kind of pose. So again, you've got your shape in here. And chibi fingers tend to be very short and very stubby. So again, we're just going to pretty much just make this shape, and then you can put sausages on it. That's pretty much the basics for a hand, and it actually works quite well. But again, when your hand sits naturally, your hand doesn't sit this way. Your hand sits this way, because it's just the way your fingers relax, the muscles relax that way. And your hand, or at least your palm of your hand, actually curves, so do your fingers when they go round. That is why your thumb normally comes down so much further than your other fingers, and you can actually see it when you look at your hand that your fingers go in that kind of shape normally, as I've shown on this one. Same works for this one here. So it's gone in that kind of shape. So yes, this would be a very chubby little hand. It works in the same kind of way as the others. Just put a few shadows underneath it and it suddenly looks like a nice actual hand. Yay! You also have this piece in here. That's something you'll notice yourself when you draw. It's because of like the way the bones and stuff all meld in for your wrist. So learning the anatomy behind it is actually quite helpful when you want to draw things. If you don't understand why it moves that way, I'd suggest looking it up. Because understanding how it works will make it a lot easier for you to learn how to draw it. That's pretty much the only reason I can draw anything, is because now I understand how it works. Same works for like machinery and stuff like that, because it's the same thing. Okay, so that is a chubby hand. We can also go for like a long slendered hand, what they use, I guess they normally use for like anime. So again, we'll go the same thing. So it's the same idea. It's just that everything is longer, a lot more longer. I have seen people draw hands like this, and technically it is a style, so it is doable. There we go. Ta-da! Magical. So yeah, it's not personally my style, because I like thicker fingers. Otherwise, for me, they feel like they'll break. So yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Otherwise, you can do something like this. And this is a good way to do it. You can figure out the shape of where you want your fingers to go. So I'm just doing it that shape. And then my thumb is out this way. And I'm going to do very squared out fingers. This would work well if you were doing something like Minecraft. Or even masculine hands. Because a lot of male hands tend to be quite squarish compared to girl hands. So yeah, it highly depends on what style you pick. This is how I draw hands. Obviously, it's not perfect, and it's just the way I do it. I enjoy it this way, and it's easy for me to understand. So, but again, it will entirely depend on what you do with it. Because using your own hand as a reference is a fantastic idea. It's handy. You can constantly use your hand because it's always there. And if you don't have the right hand pose, like if you want to use the hand you're using to draw with, then you take a photo and use that as a reference. It also is good for learning how to shade on it, because you can see the lighting you can put the lighting in effect so you can see exactly how that lighting works on your hand, and you can see how cast shadows and everything go. So it is a good way to learn. It also means that you can do like difficult poses and stuff like that as well. So if I put, I guess I'll try doing a funny pose. So I'm going to, again, I've got my hand in front of me just because it makes it easier. So I want my thumb to come out this way. And it's like that. And my finger is up. This way it's actually fairly relaxed. So it comes up like this. And then this finger has actually come up through here. So this one, this thumb is leaning on this finger. It's actually probably a little bit too light. Yeah. I can't English, it's okay. And then we have this one. This finger is bent, so this is where the bend comes in, and it's actually coming through and sitting on here. So it's resting on this piece. Just need to have the shape of the hand. And then this one is just tucked in with this one here. And it comes out. So that is roughly, it's using the same idea. You can see how your fingers move, you know roughly where they have to sit. It does take practice, but so long as you're willing to keep up the practice, you should be able to do it without too much problems. So if you want to get better at stuff like this, you just need to understand how it works, and you need to put the time into just learning how to draw the basic shapes and understanding where they get put, and you eventually don't even have to use guidelines. So a lot of these pictures could be drawn without guidelines. It's just you use them to help you get the basics of where you want it. So yes, this was the basic idea for a hand tutorial. It's not like fully detailed, and I know I probably could do more with it. In terms of shading and stuff like that, I don't want to teach you guys how to just shade a hand, because that won't actually help you in shading in general. So I will do a more detailed shading tutorial, and I'll also do a painting tutorial, because I would like to teach you guys how to paint. You've probably seen, or you guys actually generally like my digital paintings. In terms of pixel art, I can do more pixel tutorials. I do have a pixel tutorial book now, and I will do a short animating tutorial for pixel art, because I have actually had a few requests for that one as well. So yes, I hope this was helpful. I'm not entirely sure if it was or not. But yeah, I hope it was helpful, and if you have something you would like me to try and teach you guys, I would love to hear it. So yeah, see you later, and thank you for watching. There we go, I have a bunny. It is a very strange bunny.